Hello, I'm Professor Joe Wood on the faculty of the Institute of World Politics, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about IWP 615, our course on Western moral and political thought. When Dr. Linchovsky founded IWP, going on 30 years ago now, he understood the need for a place that would do several things that graduate schools were not doing at that time, and most graduate schools still don't. The first thing is to bring together all the tools of statecraft to be taught by people who had tried to apply and use those tools to understand American foreign policy and understand the place of the United States better. And he also wanted to be a place where students can go to understand why their careers in government, in foreign policy and intelligence and the military were necessary and important and were really goods that could contribute to a great deal of other good in the country and in the West as a whole. So these two classes that I teach, first of all, again, the Western moral and political thought class, deal with the basic foundations of our society, basic foundations of our civilization, really. And as you might have guessed from the title, they're essentially regional studies classes. This is a regional studies class about the West, and in particular about what the best thinkers in the West have told us about political thought. That's to say, thinking about what it is we do together in order to reach some sort of common good, and moral thought, thinking about what's right and what's wrong. Now, to do that, we read through a series of some of the most important thinkers and authors. We start with Athens in the time of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Athens generally gives us the idea or the possibility of using human reason to understand the truth of things, the what is of things. We read some of Jerusalem, some of the Bible and Judeo-Christian revelation, and as that affects our moral and political thought. And we read some examples from Rome, Rome being the empire that spread Judeo-Christian revelation and Athenian or Greek political thought, moral thought, towards the West, towards Europe, and eventually across the United States. So it's a unique course. It's required for everyone. It's now a 2-credit class that you'll take over the course of an entire semester to give you time to read carefully, study carefully, and then be ready to participate in the seminars of the class. Now, one of the questions that we are asked about this class is why it is useful. And the truth is, it's not useful, or really it's just not useful in the same way you might expect. You got to remember that the most important things in life are useless. Those are the things that will really make your life full and complete, and in a sense, happy, or as happy as we can be in this life. And so this particular course is intended just in and of itself to give you an understanding of the best thinking of what makes for a good life, both individually and collectively in politics. Now, of course, there does turn out to be some use in it, or you probably wouldn't be taking it in a graduate class. And the use is that every time you go into a meeting, the people that you are in the meeting with bring with them all sorts of influences that shape what they think is good and what they think is right or wrong. And this course is going to help you understand those sources, those background influences that most people walk into any meeting with, but they don't really acknowledge because they haven't had the chance to study how they got to think about the good and how they got to think about what is right and wrong. And in doing that, we think you'll be a much more effective practitioner of policy, and you'll understand as well how or why it's important to undertake the kinds of careers that you're preparing for at IWP.